You know, some places, they aren't just built. They feel like they're woven together from stories, from power, and from deep secrets. Today, we're going to step into one of those places, a sprawling, wooden masterpiece that whispers tales of a kingdom forged in fire and ambition.
So this is the Padmanabhapuram Palace. And wow, just look at it. At first glance, you see this breathtaking example of traditional Kerala architecture, right? But believe me, this is so much more than just a pretty building. It was once the bustling capital of the powerful Travancore dynasty. And yet, for all its history, it holds a really fascinating modern-day puzzle.
And that is the big question, right? That's what we're digging into today. How on earth did this masterpiece of Kerala's heritage, the ancestral home of its kings, end up in Tamil Nadu? It's a wild story of conquest, clever politics, and, well, the redrawing of maps.
Okay, so before we get to that big mystery, let's just take a moment to understand why this palace is such a big deal. I mean, first off, just the sheer scale of it is mind-blowing. We're not talking about a simple house here. This thing is basically a city inside walls. And get this, it's almost all made of wood.
Just let that sink in for a second. 6.5 acres. We're talking more than 15 separate buildings. You've got dining halls, clock towers, even armories and performance stages. It's this huge, sprawling complex where everything is connected. And it's all telling a piece of a story that's over 400 years old. It's like a living museum of incredible craftsmanship.
But the palace we see today? Well, it's really the brainchild of one single person. A king who basically took a broken, chaotic kingdom and, well, hammered it into shape. And I mean that quite literally.
So, picture this. It's the early 1700s. The kingdom, which was called Vanad back then, was a total mess. The king didn't have much real power. He was constantly getting pushed around by these super wealthy local lords and nobles. It was just chaos, really. No one was truly in charge.
And then Marthanda shows up. He gets the throne in 1729, and this guy does not mess around. He immediately starts crushing his rivals at home. Then he goes and defeats the Dutch East India Company in a huge battle. Once he's got things under control, around 1750, he takes the old palace and completely rebuilds it. He renames it Padmanabhapuram, the city of Lord Padmanabha, and makes it the capital of his brand new, powerful kingdom, Travancore.
Okay, but here's where the story takes a really dark turn. Because Marthanda, he was absolutely ruthless. He didn't just beat his enemies, he completely destroyed them. And this quote from Manu Suppalai is just chilling. It says, "A lot of the wood that makes this palace so beautiful, it was supposedly ripped from the mansions of the noblemen he had killed." So this stunning palace was literally built from the rubble of his enemies' homes.
And that tells you everything, doesn't it? This palace was never ever just a place to live. Every single part of it, every tower, every carving, was basically a piece of political PR. It was all designed to scream one thing. The king is in charge, and his power is absolute.
You want the best example? Look no further than the Opirika Malika. It's this 4-story tower right in the middle of the palace. And it's not just a cool-looking building, no way. It was designed to be like a map of the king's power, showing everyone his exact place in the universe.
Okay, let's go through it floor by floor. On the ground floor, you've got the treasury. That's material wealth. Go up one level, and you're in the king's bedroom, his earthly, temporal power. The floor above that was for his spiritual duties. And then right at the very top, as close to the heavens as you can get, was the shrine to his god. It's brilliant, really. The whole tower is set up to show that the king is the link between the wealth of the world and the power of the divine.
And this quote just nails the psychology behind it all. The whole point of making the palace so overwhelmingly beautiful was a calculated move. Marthanda wanted to stun people, to make them forget the blood and violence of how he took power, and instead see this incredible monument as proof that his rule was absolute and backed by the gods.
All right, so we've talked about the big political message, but if you look closer, the palace is also packed with these amazing little details, and they tell a story of incredible creativity, artistry, and yeah, even a little bit of magic.
64. What's so special about the number 64? Well, head into the king's bedroom and you'll find this incredible ornate bed. It's a total masterpiece. And the legend is, it's made from the wood of 64 different medicinal trees, with each one having its own unique healing power. And you have got to check out the floors. Seriously. All through the palace, they have this amazing, shimmering black finish that's so shiny it's almost like a mirror. And it's not paint, It's not stone, it's this special, all-natural polish made from a secret recipe. We're talking burnt coconut shells, egg whites, jaggery, a crazy mix that just shows how genius these local artisans were.
And then there's this place, this incredible hall with these huge carved granite pillars. This is the Navaratri Mandapam, a performance hall where all the greatest artists used to perform. But if you're a film fan, you might recognize it for a different reason. It was a major location in the blockbuster movie Mani Chitrathazu. It's such a cool link between the palace's history and today's pop culture.
Okay, so you have to be asking, if this palace was so important, the center of the whole kingdom, why did they just leave? Well, the story of how this incredible capital city turned into a magnificent, quiet relic, that's where we're heading next.
It happened late in the 18th century. The king who came after Marthandavarma decided to move the capital north to Thiruvananthapuram. You see, that's where the huge, important Padmanabhapuram temple was. And once the royals left, the palace, well, it just didn't have a purpose anymore. And so this place that was once the bustling center of everything slowly, quietly faded into the background.
And that right there brings us full circle, back to our big question from the beginning. So, fast forward to 1956. India is redrawing its state lines based on language. The district where the palace is, Kanyakumari, ends up becoming part of Tamil Nadu. But, and this is the fascinating part, they made a special deal. The palace itself and the land it's on would still be managed by the government of Kerala. It was a way to make sure its history and its connection to the Travancore kingdom were preserved.
So what you have today is this really unique situation. It's a monument that is pure Kerala history, a symbol of Malayali culture and identity, but it's physically located in Tamil Nadu. It's like a piece of history that exists on both sides of a modern border. When you really think about it, Padmanabhapuram proves that a building is never just a building. It's not just about stone and wood. It's about power. It's about who we are. It's about memory. It's a storybook. And that kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What stories are the buildings around you telling? What's hidden in the walls of your own city?